They say that things just cannot grow beneath the winter snow.
It is on. Well, I turned it off now and put it back on. Look at that sunset, everybody. So anyways, I want to continue my other story. I kind of cut it short because I started babbling. I think I started babbling how I got this bike. And I decided that I'd rather do a more detailed video on how I got that done. It's a story in itself. But anyways, I want to reiterate on what happened with my dad and I after we made amends over the motorcycle. So the CB700 was taking a dump, and I was already actually looking for a new bike, or at least a replacement model. And actually, this bike wasn't mine. I'm gonna tell you guys in another video the story about getting it, but I got it. But I didn't tell them I got another bike. They just didn't see the CB700 anymore. They thought I got rid of it or whatever. I never, asked him about it. But he saw me pull up with it one day when I wasn't expecting him to be home, because I always threw a cover over the bike. And so they just knew it was a motorcycle, but they didn't know it was another bike. But yeah, he saw me pull up. He's like, "Oh, when'd you get that?" I told him like a couple months ago. It was in the shop getting fixed. He's like, "Oh, that's nice. And you fit on it?" Like, it was odd because he's actually asking me questions how I liked it. I'm like, "Yeah, I like it. It's my a lot more modern." It's not as raggedy-taggedy broken as my other one. He's like, "Oh, how's the gas?" I'm like, "Good. Great gas mileage." He's like, "Oh, okay. Just be careful, alright?" And I'm like, "Alright." And like right then and there, I knew he'd changed. Like, he knew, like when we would ride in the car together or go somewhere together, it was like you could hear a pin drop, and it was just so quiet because I didn't want to provoke anything. I didn't want to say anything. Last time I said something, we got into an argument. I got kicked out of the house. So I ended up just basically, not saying anything, and we would talk about something different. That year, both my sisters were getting married, so we would talk about the weddings, or, the plans that are going to go on, what we're going to do. Just, try to avoid talking about motorcycles. But one day, it was totally out of the blue, because my dad picked up, after my first sister got married, back in, I believe, May or March. Yeah, it was May. Back in May, when my sister got married back in May, it was kind of funny because he picked up, one of his daughters been leaving the house, so it was just one of those deals. He's kind of depressed, so he picked up the hobby of garage sailing, going to garage sales and picking up stuff. So I thought he was hoarding. He was buying like a grip load of different stuff. I was like, "All right, Dad, calm down." But he was actually buying some pretty neat stuff. I was like, "You got a gym? You got a treadmill?" I was like, "Dude, that's pretty cool." So what ended up happening was he saw a motorcycle on the side of the road. He told me this after like a week later. He's like, "Oh, I rode on the back of a bike." I'm like, "What? You rode on the back of a bike?" And he's like, You mean a motorcycle?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you nuts?" Like, it was this same exact opposite reaction, like when I got a motorcycle and how he reacted with me. It was hilarious. Well, my reaction was hilarious. He's like, "Yeah, did you see that motorcycle coming down the hill?" And you see, I'm like, "Yeah, it's been there for a couple weeks. The owner would put it out on the weekends and I would see it every time." And he's like, "Yeah, I called that number. The guy came over after me and Uncle went garage sailing, and the guy came over within 5 minutes, showing that he really wanted to get rid of the bike. And He's like, and the owner asked my dad, so you're gonna ride it? And he's like, no, my son rides motorcycles, and I want to see if he likes this or not. So can I hop on the back and see what it's all about? Yeah, the guy did it all right. He pulled the trigger on my dad, dude. He wide open throttle on my dad going down the street. Stupid cars, man! Stupid cars, man! Sorry. That's me venting right there, by the way. Anyways, yeah. So he told me, the guy, he hopped on the back of the cruiser. It was a Yamaha V-Star. He hopped on the back of the cruiser. The guy opens it up on my dad. And my dad wasn't even wearing a helmet. And my dad's like, he was like hugging the guy like a hobo. And the guy's like, don't hold on to me, you're gonna rip me off the bike. It was hilarious. I thought it was funny. He was like, oh man, that thing was fast. I'm like, oh, Dad, you should have told him to do that. You should have said, hey, just cruise around. And he's like, yeah, he wanted to show me the power. I'm like, he told me, and we're talking about it, and he basically, he offered the guy $3,000 for the bike. And he's pretty much like lowballing him. You know, when you're a garage sailor, that's what you do. So he was pretty much lowballing him, and I was just laughing the whole time when he was telling me the story. And right then and there, like after, you know, we stopped talking and I went my way, I knew there was a change in him and our relationship, where he knew that, he said that he would buy me the bike just because it was bigger, so people could see me more. Like visually see me. He's like, yeah, the bikes tend to be loud. The bigger bikes tend to be louder, and people tend to see you better. You know, the little bikes, the little Hondas and stuff like that, people tend not to see you. And those guys, you know, they're a lot slower, or they're a lot faster. I don't want you to get hurt. Right? Like the point that he was willing to buy me a motorcycle that technically isn't safer, but to his his thinking, he thought would be safer. It touched me, man. Like right then and there, I knew that he knew that it was dangerous. He knew that I really loved riding, and he was doing his part to, you know, keep our relationship going by talking to me about what I like. And you know, I'm not a father yet, but I vowed myself when I do become a dad is that, you know, I'll try to mentor my son the way I need to do, father him the way I need to be a father to him. But when he gets into, you know, with, I don't know, and I probably won't try to get him into any, like, if I try to get him into sports or whatever, he wants to play baseball. I hate baseball, but if one day he loves playing baseball, I'll try to support him. And if he wants to play basketball, I'll try to support him playing basketball. It's just, that's how it goes. That's what a father's supposed to be. And so when my dad started doing that, and the first time in my life, that was the first time he ever done anything like that for me. And I'm very blessed to have a parent like that, a dad like that. So anyways, that's the story of me and my bike. Good old BFR. I'll tell you guys how the story with this bike in itself, but that's the story with me and my dad, you know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm actually on my way to college right now. I get my TV test checked out, and I have to get another one after that. But yeah, talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the story. Peace. Bye bye. Nice bike helmet, buddy. It's when you're riding a scooter with a bike helmet.
I simply cannot hold. window.